How to buy land for beginners. In this economy, with everything that is going on, buying land could be one of the smartest investments that you make. Vacant land where there is no house on it, even lots and pieces of land that are fully covered with trees and grass and have not been cleared at all, could be one of the best investments that you can make. I'm going to share with you in this video not only why these could be great investments for you, where you should be buying them, what the process is, and how you can actually turn a little bit of money into a lot of money, like real investments should. Let's go.
Noel. Yeah, she can fix that. You gotta get it done, no, you need to do it better. Well, she can fix that. Yeah, she can fix that. Investment to get back, trying to get a big stack. She can fix that. Let's fix that.
So let's get right into this. Noel Randall is a best-selling author of Real Estate Millionaire Secrets, but in those books, I'm usually talking about buying houses. But in this economy, what we are experiencing right now, buying land could be one of the best investments that you actually make. I'm going to share with you a step-by-step process on how to buy land, some land that you can get for just a little bit of money. I'm talking a few $1,000s, and some ways, some creative ways where you can flip that land and make a lot of money, whether you decide to keep it for a little bit of time or keep it for years. It's an investment. Let's get to it. So the first thing that you need to know is that real estate has created more millionaires than any other industry combined.
So whenever I am buying condos, houses, townhouses,
or different pieces of real estate that you can leverage for fix and flips or wholesaling or to make your rental properties. But whenever you are actually buying real estate, you're always buying the land. If I'm talking about buying a single family house, it's the land that really gives it the value. It's the land that makes it scarce. It's the land that makes it unique. You know, they always say with real estate, one of the amazing things is that there are no pieces of real estate that are exactly alike because no two pieces can share the same piece of land. And so whenever you're looking at real estate, especially when it comes to fixing and flipping, you are always looking at the land value because you could tear down the house and build something very valuable on it. And it was the land that's making it scarce, not the house itself. So you've always really been buying land. And I've always been talking and teaching that as a secret to buying real estate is looking at the land, looking at if there's a lot of buildable land in the area, looking about what's going on, what new businesses, what new corporations, what new industries, what's going on in that area, because you're not just buying a house, you're buying the land. So now let's talk about the opportunity that exists right now in this economy. You guys know rental properties are going crazy. Rents are going crazy. We got a volatile market going on with tourism and travel and people not wanting to come to the country or maybe other political things that are going on. It has created some volatility in the real estate market, but not so much when it comes to land. So let's talk about how you could easily buy land. I'm talking 5,000, 10,000, lots for 50,000, 5 acres for $20,000 and $50,000. Yes, these deals exist, and this is what you should be doing because you can make a lot of money once all of this turmoil finishes up. You can end up a millionaire. Let's go. Step 1, decide on the size and the location of where you want to buy land. So I'm here in Florida, but I would buy land almost anywhere. I would buy land in places I wouldn't buy real estate, for example, where I wouldn't necessarily buy houses or build an apartment building, because land is going to be a little bit different because a lot of times it does have to do with what is the potential. So when we're talking about the location, I definitely think you should stay in the area that you are familiar with. I don't suggest your first piece of land, you buy it, you know, in some place that you've never seen before and you don't have anyone and you've never been there, you know, or you don't even have anyone to put eyes on it. That is not Noel Randall's recommendation. I am a real estate multimillionaire. I think especially in the beginning, part of your education is you have to put eyes on it. You need to drive by, you need to see it. Once you get good and you get advanced, yeah, you can take pictures, you can take videos, you can take other people's word because your wealth is different. Your numbers change as you grow. So when we're talking about size and location, your first pieces of land should really be at least an acre. You should be looking for acreage. That way there's different things that you can do with it, like divide the property up. So if, for example, you even just have 1 acre, you can divide 1 acre up into 16 different lots, 32 different lots. There's a lot that you can put on just 1 acre of land. But buying smaller lots like 0.12 size or 0.25, yeah, those are usually going to be lots that are already cleared out. But if you want to talk about the opportunity that exists now for you to actually become wealthy, You want raw land that is more than an acre. I would say 1 acre, 10 acres, 15 acres, maybe not too much more than that, because of course it's going to get very cumbersome. The more land you have, that's obviously the more taxes you're going to have to pay, things like that. But one of the reasons why I say that land is a great opportunity right now is because it is an asset and something that you can buy with not a lot of maintenance. This is not going to require a lot of fees or a lot of work from you when you first buy it, not unless you wanted to actually develop the land. And that's not what I'm going to tell you. In most cases, you're going to do with the land. In most cases, you're going to sell it to a developer or someone that would do something with the land, build a house on it, etc., etc. If you are an established real estate investor, yeah, I might build a house because now I have enough contacts and enough expertise to actually build a home. But if you are a beginner, you're just looking for land, 1 acre, 2 acres, 5 acres, and in many cases, in an area that you are familiar with that is outside of a major city. So for example, if I am in Orlando, I would be looking for land in Kissimmee. I'm looking for land in Davenport. I'm looking for land in Haines City, areas that I know are growing that are outside of the major city. Same thing if I was in Atlanta, just using these as an example. I might be buying land in Alpharetta or Roswell, or maybe I'm buying land in Rockwall, or I'm buying land on the other side like Douglasville. So think about a major city and then some of the suburban areas outside of those. Those are going to be some great areas for you to buy your first pieces of land. Again, this is for beginners. This is for people that don't own a lot of land and are not into construction. I'm talking about this is from the best investment type of perspective, because these are lands that are going to be built on in some point. Those are growing areas, and they are eventually going to be able to buy that land, and it's going to go up in value from what you purchased it for. You're going to be able to find land at very cheap prices because a lot of those areas are not fully developed. However, they're near a major city, and we all know urban sprawl just keeps growing. We keep going further and further outside of the city. So I'm not talking about going all the way to a rural area, but I am saying a more suburban area. Try to pick up land outside of that. So major city, suburban area, 1 acre to 5 acres, 1 acre to 10 acres. Those are the site and the locations of where you should be looking to buy land. Let me tell you step 2. Step 2, decide, are you going to use a real estate agent or are you going to do this yourself? Now, Noelle Randall is a real estate entrepreneur, but I am also a licensed real estate broker. So I have both expertise going for me. I definitely think that you'll make more money if you can find off-market land and deal directly with the seller. You can use apps like
land.com
and search for land. Or if you're really smart, you can use things like Deal Machine, where you can find off-market deals and reach out directly to the owners of those land and buy that land directly from them. Now, working with a real estate agent, of course, you're going to have to pay that person a fee, and that does usually increase the price of what you buy because their fee is usually included in the price of the land that you're buying. Most people that are buying and using a real estate agent, they're not paying the real estate out of pocket. They usually just add the commissions to the property that they're buying. So if you're buying a piece of land, let's just say it's $5,000, or the realtor's commission may be $1,500. So now you're paying $6,500 for that piece of land. You get the math. So if you do that yourself and you don't have a real estate agent and you don't have a broker, yes, you have to do the work yourself, but now you're not paying those commissions. And in many cases, you can negotiate directly with the seller. A savvy investor, what I would tell you to do is actually use it yourself. Try not to use a real estate agent. I know. Let me tell you why, though. Yes, real estate agents do have expertise, and many of them can help you through the process, especially if you are a beginner. However, let me give you a fun fact. Most real estate agents have absolutely no training on land, and they, in many cases, don't know anything about it. 80% of all real estate agents deal in the single family market, meaning they just sell houses. They show people houses or they sell houses. And when I say houses, I mean houses, townhouses, condos, again, single family residences, whether they're attached or detached. 20% of agents are in commercial real estate, meaning they sell commercial real estate, like, buildings, office buildings, hotels, businesses. They deal in commercial real estate. So if that's 80 and 20, that's 100% of all of the real estate agents. Well, that's because less than 1% of agents deal with land and only deal with land. So you have this very small group of real estate agents that are usually that are experts in buying land or know anything really about it. And in real estate school, again, I am a licensed real estate broker. I was a licensed real estate agent. Noelle Randall has been licensed in real estate since 2006. So I can tell you unequivocally that is not most of the education. Buying raw land, how to deal with raw land. You almost, oh gosh, I hate to say this, would be better off listening to some experts that you might find on YouTube. You can actually kind of do your own research. And in many cases, the risk associated with buying land in a lot of cases is much lower than buying a house. You don't have an HVA system and a septic system and foundation, all of those things. You don't have insurance costs. Again, it's just land. You don't even have to insure the land. Obviously, you don't have to call and get insurance because there's nothing to insure. You just have the land and taxes. So it's a lot lower risk. So it's a lot easier for a newbie, an investor, to start investing in real estate and have some land. Additionally, land is something you can keep for many, many years without it having those really high costs each year. Even owning just a timeshare could be $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 per year in ownership costs, as where owning land is just the taxes. And so it's usually not very much because there's no improved property on the land. It's just raw land. So in many cases, the taxes are very, very low, even on, 5, 10 acres.
One more important point about using a realtor when buying or selling land. If you decide to work with a realtor, make sure they actually specialize in land transactions. Don't just choose someone who mainly sells houses. You want someone with real experience buying and selling land. Ask specific questions. When was the last time they sold a piece of land? Where was it located? How many land transactions do they handle each year? You really want to vet them and make sure they have true expertise in this area. Any realtor can technically sell land, but if you're going to pay a commission, you might as well work with someone who genuinely understands the process and specializes in land deals.
Number 3, decide on cash or finance. So you can actually finance land. You can get a mortgage just like on a house. They call it land financing, and many banks do it where they will finance just the land for you. And you can have a mortgage payment just like a house, 20 years, 30 years. So in many cases, it's $100 a month, $300 per month, things like that, like really low payments, because they will finance the land very similar to what they will finance other real estate, which is for a very long time at a very low interest rate. So you can actually finance the land. You don't have to have all of the cash, or you can buy it cash. Again, if you have $10,000, $100,000, say that you wanted to invest, you could easily pick up a lot of land with $100,000. You can buy 5 acres for $25,000, $50,000 and that's 5 acres right there and still have $50,000 left over, like I said, or $75,000, depending on how much you spend. So in many cases, you can get a lot of land for not a lot of money. So in many cases, you can use the money that you already have put aside for other investments. Maybe you have money in a 401k that you want to invest in land, and you want to pull some of that out and buy some tangible assets like land. Or you can actually finance it at a very low interest rate, 5%, 6%, spread out over 20 and 30 years. You can end up with some really low payments on your land. Or I'm going to give you a bonus. You can even use business credit. Yeah, I want to invite you to the Grow Your Wealth Bootcamp. You can go to growyourwealthbootcamp.com. We're actually having an encore of the live event that I just did, where I actually teach on how to get business credit, how to get business funding, and how to buy income generating assets with other people's money that you borrowed in your business's name. And in most cases, I suggest that you would buy your land in your business's name. So you're going to buy a business, get an LLC, and put the land in the LLC. For example, again, Noelle Randall is not a tax attorney or an advisor. I cannot tell you what structure to purchase your land in, but I usually purchase land in an LLC. So I get an LLC and I buy the land. Well, an LLC is an actual business. You have to get the LLC registered with the Secretary of State. You have to get the EIN, employer identification number. This is all free. And you get a business checking account. Just that simple. Now you actually have a business that can borrow money. So then you can borrow in your business's name and use that money to buy land. Now, those are assets owned by your business and financed in your business's name, not reporting on your personal credit report. Think about that. You can do this over and over and over again. And in most cases, they will lend more money to your business than they will to you personally. So it's an amazing thing. So if you want to learn more about this and spend a whole day learning about business credit, business funding, and how to use it to buy real estate, go to growyourwealthbootcamp.com and get your tickets right now to that encore. You don't want to miss this. You need to do this now, this year, because this opportunity is perfect for the market that we are in. Are you tired of overpaying because you have bad credit? Yeah. Do you know that on average, you're paying way more for things because you have bad credit, and you're paying higher interest rates, even probably paying more for insurance? Well, call my friends at creativecreditsolutions.net. Let them know that Noelle Randall sent you. This is an amazing company because they're not just credit repair, they are credit restoration. They literally helped Noelle Randall fix her credit many, many years ago, and they are helping students every single day. You want to keep more of the money that you have, and you should not be overpaying. Call my friends at creativecreditsolutions.net. Use the link in the description box or tell them that Noelle Randall sent you, and they will give you a free consultation and see what they can do for you. You can do it. Bad credit does not have to stop you, and it does not have to be a permanent thing. Okay, let me keep going with step 4. Make an offer. So step 4 would be actually make an offer on some land. So just because they are asking a certain price for their land does not mean that's what you have to pay for it. Just like all real estate, those prices are negotiable. So if you look, for example, on
land.com.
you found a piece of land that you want to buy and it's $50,000 for 5 acres. Well, you don't have to pay $50,000. You can make them an offer for $40,000. Did you get that? And they may accept your offer. And that all an offer is a purchase contract. So you can write up a purchase contract, send it over to them, and that is your offer. You can actually put in there a due diligence period, which I'll talk about in a second. That gives you time to do your inspections, go by, see the property, do any surveys, environmental studies that you may need to do on the property. There is some due diligence that does go along with land, just like with buying a piece of property like a house, but it usually is a lot less and a lot less expensive. So let me tell you, but you have to make an offer. That is just basically sending over a purchase agreement. So just like when you buy a house, you fill out a purchase agreement and you send it over to the seller. The same thing goes with land. However, the difference obviously is a little bit of nuance in the contract. Obviously, a piece of house, you'll have the full address, but with a piece of land, you're going to have the legal description. You're going to have the estimated amount of the acreage. Instead of having like 123 Main Street, it would be like, East Point, that, like you put a whole legal description. I'll put an example of what a legal description looks like for land in Florida. This is an actual piece of land right here. Okay, so that's what a legal description looks like, and that's what you're actually offering to purchase. And you make an offer. You don't have to offer what they are asking. You can negotiate. You can negotiate them paying your closing costs. You can negotiate a due diligence period, how many days you have to go and do your inspection. Do you want 15 days? Do you want 10 days? Do you want 30 days? And what happens if you decide not to buy that piece of land? You will write that in there. You usually can cancel during your due diligence period if you find something that negatively affects you buying the property. So for example, you find that there is, an encumbrance on the land or an encroachment where the gas company says you can't build anything on the land, something like that. Well, then you could cancel. But a lot of times, even just with land, they do have to disclose things to you. They have to tell you, hey, that, like I said, the utility company said you can't build anything on this piece of land. Just like all real estate, there are laws that govern them, and they have to disclose defects and different things like that to you. But you as the buyer have your due diligence period where you can look through the documents, look through the surveys, have someone go out there, have a surveyor, have experts before you actually close on the loan or close on the piece of land that you have bought. You will send this to the title company the same way that you buy a house. The process for buying land is very similar. Once you put the contract in, very similar to buying a house. You're going to go through a title company or an attorney, depending on what your state. They're going to pull the title. They're going to make sure there's no liens on the land. Just like there could be a lien on a house, there could be lien on the land. They will do all of those things before you close. So that is a part of your due diligence period, which is kind of step 4 as well. So you're going to put the offer in, you're going to negotiate with them, you're You're going to negotiate a due diligence period for yourself, and then you're going to actually do your due diligence. Now, let's talk about how you're going to make a lot of money on most pieces of land. Land can be flipped. So just like we do fix and flip with houses, we do fix and flips with land. So in many cases, like I said, land that has not been cleared yet, it has trees on it. You can barely even see it when you drive by. It has access to a road, because that's important. Do not buy land that does not have access to a road. Again, I'm going to put a link to a video that I made about 10 mistakes people make when buying land. I'm going to put a link to that video right here, and you're going to watch that. I'm also making a video of what to do with those lands that don't have access to a road, because that could be an opportunity for you as well. However, it's not usually for a beginner, not for the first time you buy land. You probably shouldn't buy, land that has no access to a road, but your first piece of land, it should have access to a road, and you should be able to drive by and look at that piece of land. Additionally, you should do an appraisal. You should look into see how much the land is actually worth. Just because they said it was $50,000 and then you offer 40, well, guess what? The appraisal could come in and say it's worth 35. So you still should do, during your due diligence period, you should do an appraisal. Find comparable sales, comparable pieces of land that sold in the area, how much it sold for, and different things like that. This way, in many cases, I have bought land where I actually paid less than what it was worth. That appraisal can be so important to your wealth. You could literally buy land and you pay $40,000 and the appraisal says it's worth $75,000. That way you are immediately coming into it with equity. That is going to be so important, because again, just like homes appreciate in value, so does land, because that is truly what is appreciating. When we talk about real estate going up in value, we're actually talking about the land that it sits on going up in value. And so it's the same concept when you're buying land. You want to buy it where you have equity in it as soon as you buy it, and it is going to have appreciation where it goes up in value over time, so that you can sell the land for a profit. You'll be able to clear the land off. If you buy land that has trees on it, you literally can invest the money, again, using business credit or business funding, to clear all the trees off of it, for example, and then sell it to someone else. People love land that has already been cleared. So a very great opportunity for you would to be actually to find land that has not been cleared yet, clear the land, and then resell it. So now is the time for you to get wealthy. You can buy land. It is not very expensive, and it is very low risk when it comes to other real estate investments. It's probably one of the lower risk real estate investments that you can make. Like I mentioned before, lower maintenance costs. But the real reason that you want to do this is you can use business credit to buy land and not have to borrow using your own social security number or have a report on your personal credit report. I teach all of this in a one-day virtual event called the Grow Your Wealth Bootcamp. Go to growyourwealthbootcamp.com right now and get your tickets to this encore event. We did this event live. People absolutely loved it. They're building business credit. They built businesses, holding companies. So much success has happened already, and I want it to keep going. Get your tickets right now. This is super inexpensive. This is a one-day event, December 6th, 2025. You don't want to miss this. This is incredible. You'll literally learn how to build business credit, get business funding, in some cases $50,000, $75,000 in just a matter of weeks. And this is what you can do: buying land, buying real estate, investing in your business, doing so many things to grow your wealth. You can do it. I want to see you at this event, growyourwealthbootcamp.com. Get your tickets right now, because I want to make sure that you have all of the knowledge, all of the resources, and all of the tools that you need to be successful. This is Noelle Randall. To your success. She could fix that. Yeah, she could fix that. Yes, she can help you fix that. So go ahead and subscribe to this channel, because of course you stayed all the way to the end. You must absolutely love me, so you might as well subscribe. I love you. Share that love and like this video. All right.